Good afternoon, everyone. How's it going? Windy Breeze here, back with another video for you guys. Today I'm doing it a bit different. Normally I just do like a specific recipe. Today I'm just gonna do more of like just an idea for a high protein meal prep. I know a lot of people are always looking for like specific like meals where they can get a lot of protein. So this one is gonna be for that. So what I'm gonna be doing today is some falafel, some brown jasmine rice, and some Haitian style rice and peas. So I'm going to get right into it. So right off the bat, I have some pinto beans. Pinto beans is very popular in Haitian cuisine. So we're going to go with that. As usual, I like to use dry beans. So for this, like this is soaked overnight, washed, soaked overnight, and got it over here. So I want to get started with this. So typically, you can get your beans once soaked. You can get this cooked within 30 minutes, and then you're going to continue the rest of the process with the rice. So I already have my brown jasmine rice here. So it's been washed, soaked overnight. That will increase it'll speed up the time, the cook time. So here I already started boiling some water. I got about 6 cups of water. I put a little olive oil in there just to help it out. So we're going to get it started here. So 30 minutes should be enough to cook these beans because it was already soaked overnight. So I'm just going to put our timer for 30 minutes. All right. And so while we wait for this to cook, we're going to work on our falafel. As usual, I'm going to have the recipe in the description, but this falafel recipe, I've made it before. So it's basically dried chickpeas. I have some cilantro, some parsley in here. We got some diced onions with some garlic. Here I have a variety of stuff in here. So from baking powder, some cumin, coriander. So yeah, so I'm going to list that out for you guys. So what we want to do is put this in the food processor to make our falafel. Just grab that here. So, and this falafel recipe is going to be baked. Like falafel, like for vegetarians and vegans, it's a good way to get some protein in, but my only issue is typically it's deep fried, which a lot of people stomachs don't do well with fried food. So with this one here, it's going to be baked. So bring it down here for you guys. And you're just going to mix all your ingredients. I already have the majority of the things I need right in here. Do that. Put our parsley mix, our onion. So I'm just going to add some olive oil for this and this, and then we're going to process it. So yeah, I ran our chickpeas and our spices to the food processor a few times. As you can see, you have almost like that dough. So what I'm going to do here, so you can either make traditional like small, like the little small ball style falafel or patties. But I'm just gonna make a little, struggling here, but yeah, so I'm just gonna make a little ball. So you can make patties with these, or you can just make like small little round ball. Now, what I find with baking the falafel, unlike when you're deep frying it, so you could like the size doesn't really matter. You can just like put it in the oil because this is not being deep fried. I find like the bigger you make the ball, it takes longer to cook, and sometimes it doesn't cook properly. So you want to just make like a nice like round small roll that way it's properly cooked. I'm gonna make a few of these. I'm gonna put them in the oven at 400 for 10 minutes on each side, and then check on them. So as you can see, I've already started making them just like small ball enough so it can cook. You don't want your falafel to be undercooked. So I'm gonna make a few of these, and I'm gonna show you guys. So all right, guys, see, that's falafel's done. So these aren't enough yet. So what I did is I put a little olive oil on the parchment paper, and I just kind of like brush it along, and then I made the little falafel balls, put it on it. That way it doesn't stick, like I mentioned before. So I'm going to put these in for 10 minutes and then check on them. But simultaneously though, we're gonna be adding some broccoli. Like I had mentioned, this meal is it's a good option if you guys are looking for a good high protein plant based meal idea for the week, the meal prep. So for these, I'm gonna put these broccoli with the falafel. Before I do this, I'm gonna toss these in some olive oil. And we want these to taste good, so you got some smoked paprika. So I'm gonna sprinkle over these. And if you guys, like any one of you guys who've seen a lot of my videos, I use a lot of hemp seeds. It's a high quality plant based source of good fats and protein. So I'm gonna toss some of that in there. So again, the main idea of this is a high protein lunch. So we're gonna get some black pepper. Right, toss that in there. All right, so we're gonna cook our broccoli the same time as our falafel. Yeah, guys. So so our falafel is in. So I just checked on our beans as well. It's pretty cooked. So I turned it off, and then we're gonna be adding it to our rice. As you can see here, I already heated 3 tablespoons of oil. I have some shallots here. So I'm gonna saute some shallots. I'm gonna be draining our beans, and I'm gonna be using some of this actual liquid to cook the rice. But for the meantime, I'm just gonna saute. I'm gonna saute these shallots, and normally like you can add a Maggi cube here. I'm gonna add some rice and pea seasoning to it. So, but what I'm gonna start off with is our epis. In the Haitian community, we call this epis. I know in the Caribbean, different nationalities make basically a similar seasoning. I'm not going to go into much detail about this. I did a video explaining like the whole process of getting this together, so you guys can go back to watching this. But essentially, this have a lot of spices. This have some onions already, some shallots, some cloves, some garlic. So this is already a good seasoning base to it. So I'm just gonna saute this. Gonna cook it down a bit with our shallots before I add our beans. And so we're still cooking our shallots. So what I'm doing, I'm just adding 1 tablespoon of tomato paste to this. Cooking, I'm gonna add in our pimento beans. All right, so you want to mix this. I'm going to add a little water to this, but just for the extra flavor, I'm going to add just 1 tablespoon of rice and pea seasoning. So this is optional because I'm not gonna be adding any more salt to this. So in this process, you can add some salt, or if you like some Maggi, you can add Maggi to this. But essentially, I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of water to this. I'm gonna let this cook down for about 1 minute before I add our rice. So as you can see, our beans is bubbling. Just mix up all the flavor, and then we're gonna add our rice. You're gonna add our rice. You wanna mix your rice in there. Everything. So essentially, this process we're seasoning the rice. So we already have like all our seasoning with our beans, and you wanna just make sure you thoroughly mix this. And as you can see, because of the tomato paste and the pinto beans color, the liquid has like kind of like a light reddish color to it. So you want to mix the rice just to make sure like the rice is fully coated into this. And I want to add my 6 cups of water. Right. Again, so this is some of the water that we use to cook. So because it's brown rice does take a bit longer. Like I said, like I find the code is to soak it overnight, but you don't want to put too much water. So I think I might have had too much water on this. I'm gonna leave this as is. You're gonna let this cook for a few minutes before we check on it. But before I cover this up, we're gonna add our Scotch bonnet. And people who don't like spice, you can avoid this. But Scotch bonnet adds a lot of flavor to rice. So, and you can see I've poked this with some cloves. I'm gonna put it here. Here I got 3 bay leaves, and add that as well for extra flavor. And I got 4 pimento berries. So this should be enough. Gonna leave this for about 15 minutes and then come back to it. Next up, we're just gonna check on our falafel. Yeah, so our falafel are coming on pretty good. Let me just bring this down so you guys can see. So like, look at this. Like I said, it's nice and green. But if you flip this over here, as you can see, so it's getting a little color here, and that's one of the biggest difference. Like when you're baking it instead of deep frying it, that's how you want it to properly cook. So what I'm actually going to do is, so I'm just going to flip all of these, and I'm going to put it. I'm gonna put them back in for another 10 minutes. But again, I'm liking what I'm seeing. But you can see here, it's still not fully cooked, but you can see the bottom part, and that's why like you don't want to make them too big when you're baking them, but just right enough. And just keep switching as you go. So I like to go 10 and 10 with these and observe it. But as you can see, like sort of here, I'm already getting that like golden color. So I'm gonna flip these and put these back in for another 10 minutes. So just took our broccoli out, as you can see. So that's all done. You can see our hemp seeds, our smoked paprika, nice and delicious. But the main event are these falafels right here. So as you can see, like nice and golden. You can see these are cooked. So essentially, we cook these for 20 minutes. I'm just gonna crack it open though, just to make sure. Awesome. So as you can see, like this one here, nicely cooked. Yeah, it's one of my favorite ways to cook it. The deep frying version, like for some reason my stomach doesn't like it anymore. But again, it's we don't need all that excess oil. But so yeah, try this, bake it. So the only thing we're waiting on is our rice, and then we can put our meal together. Yeah, folks, so everything is done. So just in a quick glance here, so we have our falafels, we got our rice and pinto beans, we have our broccoli here, and see, here's how the bowl looks. So see, not too big, not too small, but like very nutrient dense. As you can see, so we have the brown jasmine rice and pinto beans. We have 3 good-sized falafels. We have our broccoli, roasted broccoli. I'm going to be putting some avocado in there, guys. So that's, again, if you're looking for an idea for to do this week or whenever, this is a quick way to get a lot of plant-based protein. But yeah, that's something I'm going to be doing every few weeks. I'm going to still be doing the regular recipes, but just to give you guys this full meal like this. A lot of people sometimes, I know, you just want something that's straightforward. Okay, what could I make the pack up for this week? But this is here, like, again, for a week of training, this will help you get gains, a lot of plant-based protein. But yeah, guys, try the recipe. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me get some feedback, and see you in the next video.